welcome on in, everybody from the WyoNation. This is the WyoNation Roundup. I am your host, Chad Smith, and I'm joined tonight first by Mr. Brad Reed. How you doing tonight, Brad?
Ready to watch some football.
Well, you are watching football right now.
Oh, yes, I am. Only one game, though. That's
Yes.
not very – that's, like, low for me.
It is. Usually he's like, that 10-screen guy.
Oh, yeah,
He's
totally.
got everything running. And on the bottom here is Mr. Shea Foster. Welcome, Shea.
Hello, guys. I got a YouTube TV, so I can do 4 games at once here.
There we go.
Oh, time to drop.
Very nice. So, yes, welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for staying patient with us. My mic took a dirt bath right as we were doing our sound check. So I have switched to the alternate mic here. And we are in the midst of full-blown college football Thursday night. Now, not to get off track, but I remember back in the day when they opened on Thursday night, but he's usually like, 1 or 2 games maybe? Now it's a full slate of games coast to coast.
It's like 21 games tonight.
A ton of games.
The MAC is playing on a Thursday night, but it's a Tuesday night even.
There we go. I didn't know there's some action going on, huh?
Yeah, Bowling Green and Fordham.
Okay, there we go. So, but we are not here to discuss that. We are here to talk about the Wyoming Cowboys, who will be opening up their season Saturday night against the Arizona State Sun Devils. And before we move on any further, again, YouTube is a great place to watch us, as is the Twitter mothership at WyoNation.com. And we do have the chat function working, and somebody's already using it. Clint is in the house on YouTube, so here we go. Again, he says, "Go Bison, what a game." Yeah, so far. CU in North Dakota State is what I think most of the country is probably watching tonight. And then
Technically, they're both Bison.
they are. That's true. Very, very true. And then the Twitter chat is working, as Shea tested earlier in the week. Shea, kind of give them the rundown on how to use it because it looks deceiving.
Yeah, so you have to actually open up. You have to actually open up the chat, and then it will give you a live chat at the bottom. I'm not seeing it on my computer. It might have went away here, chat.
What?
Yeah,
It's not there?
I don't see it.
Very weird.
Yeah, it was there on Monday.
Okay.
I'll mess around with it though.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. So welcome on in, everybody. This is our first preview, obviously, of the season. Here we go. Stu's there.
We're good. I see it. Yep.
Okay, cool. So it's just hard to find, it seems.
Yep.
Some guy named Brad Reed is chiming in, too.
Very talented.
Look at that. He's doing 2 things at once.
Right? Well, to be fair, I was doing a fantasy football draft when we did our thing on Monday, and my fantasy football draft graded as an F. So,
Oh, there we go. I wonder why.
Distracted probably.
I wonder why. What could have happened?
Oh no, Joe Burrow.
All right, so yeah, we are here to talk about this game, and we just want to thank everybody for being with us. The season's here. It's really exciting. But before we get into this, let's get a history lesson. Who's ready for a history lesson?
Let's do
Right
it.
here is your series history between Wyoming and Arizona State. So they first met back in 1951. They've actually played 15 times, and ASU holds a 9-6 advantage. The last time they played was clear back in 1977, which obviously doesn't impact on this game, but Wyoming lost 45-0 on the road. Now you may be asking, why did they play so many times throughout the 60s and through the 70s? Well, as many of you may know, Arizona State was a team in the WAC in the 60s and 70s. So Wyoming and Arizona State were once conference mates before they jumped ship to the Pac-8, I guess, right? It was the Pac-8 back then. Or did it start as the Pac-6 even?
Pac-8.
Was it? Did they start with 8 right away?
They had those pictures that went around that were the old family portrait pictures.
Yes.
And the one that I have saved of the Pac Pac-12, it was 8 teams.
Okay. So the Pac-8. So Wyoming has actually played Arizona State 15 times. Haven't played them since 1977. And so there we go. I thought people would find that interesting. And this, of course, is a graphic courtesy of Wyoming Athletics. This is straight out of their game notes, which look great, by the way. The way they have them laid out, the graphics, the colors, really solid. As always, there from them. Rashawn is in the house. He says, wow. And I don't know if he's referring to wow as in the history between these two teams. Let us know.
Probably the
But
great
yeah,
fantasy team.
What was that, Brad?
Is it probably the grade on my fantasy team?
The grade on, oh yes, he's. I gotcha. All right, so we'll kill this, and then I've got one more thing to get the conversation started for us. And excuse that I'm kind of having to do this on the fly. I gotta try to find where this is at. Okay, it's that one. All right, let's see here. Let's kill that. And the next thing here is our matchups. You don't see this very often, right? So Wyoming going into this season, first time, Jay Salvell is his first game as a head coach, going against Kenny Dillingham, who's in his second season as a head coach. He went 3-9 last year. He's at his alma mater of Arizona State, and he's got a crazy history of he was coaching high school ball when he was still a high school student, and then went to Arizona State as a grad assistant. Didn't really play there, and then worked his way through at places like Oregon, Florida State, and then now he's back at his alma mater as the head coach of the Sun Devils. So yeah, any thoughts on Dillingham from you two?
He's younger than us.
He is. It's very true.
That's wild to me because we're not old yet, right?
No, not too much.
Okay.
Yeah, so
cool.
Dillingham is 34, and he's been coaching football, although starting at the high school level since he was 17. So half his life he's been coaching football.
I just think the spotlights are probably. He's got a good staff. I think that's what's going to help him. But I think the spotlight's probably going to be a little big for him, especially going to the Big 12.
Yeah. So normally in this type of thing, we talk about last week's game. We would look into the future, but we really can't do that. Now, we've talked plenty about Wyoming, so we'll talk about Arizona State here, but they're kind of a hard nut to crack because I was looking at their game notes. They have 60 new players on the roster this year, including over 30 transfers from the transfer portal. They have the only other team in the country that has more transfers than Arizona State is Colorado. And you've seen the struggles they had last season and the struggles they're having right now. So this is a tough one to kind of crack down and look at, is because I'm not really sure of the quality of this Arizona State roster.
Well, the only guy on that roster that I really know is Cam Scatabo, because I'm a Cam Scatabo stan. But they have another. They're one of their assistants, Charlie Raggle. He coached at Idaho State, and he brought a handful of guys with him from Idaho State, including their the Bengals stud receiver from last year. His name is escaping me at the moment, but yeah, that 60 big roster overhaul like that, just I don't think it's very helpful. Like, it just doesn't seem very helpful. Like, it's hard to get a team to gel and mesh in that short amount of time and have it be effective.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, New Mexico tried that under Loxley. What they brought in 20 JUCO transfers that one year, and they went 1-11. Unless they bond quickly, they had a decent team last year, but that much roster turnover, you can't. Their team wasn't awful last year. They played a lot of competitive games and really good defense, but now all those guys must be gone if you've brought in a whole new team.
And now they're projected to finish last in the Big 12.
Yeah. Or their backups, right? So their starting quarterback from last year is now, he's still there, but he's the third string quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. which you don't see very often, right? Usually if the starter goes, he leaves. So I don't know what circumstance that is. But one more thing here to stoke some discussion. There's another graphic for you. And again, I don't know how much this really helps us because of the roster turnover that we were just talking about. But right, even last year, they only averaged 17.8 points a game. They gave up over 30 a game. So I think from Wyoming's standpoint, catching them on the first game of the season with all this roster turnover might be the best time to play them. I don't know.
Yeah. And
yeah, but you got to start fast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that was a thing that Coach Savell talked about in his press conference. As you remember, when Wyoming hosted Texas Tech last year, they got down by 3 scores, like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't do that on the road. At home in Laramie, yeah, you could probably get away with that. But here you can't. But, I mean, I don't know, right? With all that roster turnover, are they going to score more than 17 a game? I don't know. Is their defense going to be better? I don't know. So there's a whole lot of unknowns. If you think Wyoming has a lot with a first-time head coach and a first-time starting quarterback and a first-time defensive coordinator, I mean, ASU's got just as many questions. So, yeah, this is really one of the craziest games because there's just so many new things on both sides of the ball. It's hard to say what's going to happen. So I think everybody, right, is just looking forward to watching the game and seeing how it plays out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, Wyoming's still an underdog in this game. I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense to me, like why that would be. I know the Cowboys have some questions, but I think Arizona State has a lot more question marks headed into this season. Like, they're projected to finish last in their conference. They're not, the bookmakers think they're going to be awful this year, like 17 points a game awful. So that's a strange one to me. Seems like a pretty good opportunity to smash the money line on that. But
yeah, I don't know. I forget the website I used to go to. Is it Oddshark? Can you bring up Oddshark and give us the latest numbers? And
7.
I think it is. Yeah, 7 is what I last saw. So take a look at bring up their chart and kind of give us the breakdown of what you're seeing there. But why I do that, I mean, I think maybe part of it is, again, now Wyoming is playing a Power 5 or 4, whatever you want to call them now, on the road. And in the modern era, Wyoming has one victory on the road in their history against a Power 5 school. So,
yeah. And so
many losses, right? I was doing the countdown and I didn't want to, but Wyoming's like 1 in 25 or something crazy, right?
So
the
a
only
lot of
win,
close games.
A lot of close games. Some of them were close, but some of them we just got, curb stomped. But again, that's against like the likes of Oregon and teams like that we played in the past. But Wyoming's lone win was at Tennessee, and that team that year was, pretty dang awful. So I don't know. Is Arizona State at that level? They might be. We'll find out, I think, Saturday. But, yeah, I think it's kind of hard. So it looks like, Brad, do you have those numbers?
Well, to piggyback off of that, the Cowboys are 20-27-1 in season openers on the road.
Okay.
So
that's not terrible. Yeah.
No. But comparatively, they are 60-18-1 at home. So,
yeah.
So right now, the Cowboys are +7 with an over-under of 47.5.
47.5. Okay, so they're thinking like a 27-20 game.
Yep.
It's kind of what they're looking at there.
I
don't know. I don't know with our offense or defense that they're going to get into the high 20s, Arizona State. Unless they just out-athlete us, which I don't know how easily they can do that. I mean, obviously they have athletes, but we do too. It's not like we're slouches, I think. No, people should know that.
It's Wyoming's depth that will get them into that. If the cornerback depth and the safety depth isn't there, they can get into the 20s.
Yeah. That's the main scenario I see. Correct.
Hilariously, the game on Oddshark listed right above Wyoming is New Mexico and Arizona, and they have New Mexico as a 31-point underdog. After almost losing to Montana State last weekend, I don't think bookmakers were very impressed with the Lobos.
Yeah, let's see. Clint saying, didn't Wyoming win at Ole Miss? Is that one I missed? I thought
they won in 05 at Ole Miss.
Was that okay? See, I don't know how I missed that. Okay, so 2 then. Let's check that out. Yeah, I don't know.
They are 0-2 against us.
Let's check this really quick. Oh, you know why? Because this thing didn't go back to. It only went to 2009 on this site.
Yeah, so we beat them in 2005 in Oxford, in Oxford, 24-14.
There we go. So that's 2.
Beat them in 2004 at home.
At home, yeah.
37-32.
They were really bad, though.
Didn't one of those teams have, like, Eli Manning?
No, it was the year after he graduated.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
They came to Laramie, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, thank you, Clint.
Yeah, the famous Bonite to Barge Pass.
I was trying to figure that, but Wyoming doesn't – I was trying to find a site that, kept those stats, Power 5 versus Group of 5. Nobody has that information. And Wyoming, usually in the past, they would kind of list stuff like that, but they didn't this year. I couldn't find it. So yeah, thank you, Clint. So 2. So yeah, so I guess the hope is, right, that and this Arizona State team may fall with Ole Miss and Tennessee, right? It's just not very good Power 5 teams that Wyoming can take advantage of. Before we move on further, I want to say the game is on FS1, and on the call will be Chris Myers, and then one of my favorite people because he's a blabbing idiot, Petros.
I love Petros.
Calling the game, and Petros loves Wyoming.
He does.
So Petros follows me on Twitter because I
I
would chat with him after games, and he'd be like, "Oh man, Wyoming." So
he loves Laramie.
Yeah, Petros loves it. So we'll see. I don't know if we have another FS1 game. Maybe he'll get his chance to come back to Laramie.
Later in the season, that's when you get the fight between FS1 and Fox. It depends how good Wyoming is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still 2 TBA games on the schedule with San Jose State and North Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think those are going to be FS1 games, unfortunately. But yeah, so again, as we just said, a lot of unknowns here. You really I can't predict because I haven't seen, right? Arizona State has a new starting quarterback by the name of Sam Levitt. He's a transfer from Michigan State. He beat out Jeff Sims, which, surprise, surprise, he beat out a guy who who was a turnover machine last year for Nebraska. But Levitt is only thrown 23 passes in his career, 15 to 23, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those are his numbers. He's 6'2", 200. I've seen him play a little bit. I don't know if he's got the strongest arm. His arm's okay, and he's fairly mobile. So again, I think Wyoming's going to have their handful just kind of as a coaching staff trying to figure out what is Arizona State going to do with all these new players, right? We really don't have anything. We could look at their tape from last year, I think, but they just got so many new players at skill positions to where I don't know what they're going to be looking for. But as Brad said, they do return Scattaboo, who is a load. That guy is he's a running back who runs with bad intentions.
He also punts for him.
Yes. And he has the ability to do that. When Joe Glenn used to do that back in the day, right? We had a guy who on 4th down I guess Brett Smith did it a little under DC, right? We would line up like we're going for it and do the old pooch punt.
Yeah, I think Brett was pretty good at that too.
I just think Wyoming is going to play such a vanilla defense to start the game. Because now with the tablets, they can change. It's easier for them to change their scheme. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity that if Wyoming kicks off, Arizona State marches down the field on them because Wyoming doesn't know they don't know what to do. They're just playing this very basic zone defense.
Playing your system, right? I agree.
Yeah. And then it's up 7-0, and then you're like, okay, now we see what they're doing. Now we're going to send the house at them.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about the tablets, Shea. I don't think many people have talked about this, but it's wide, right? It's like NCAA wide, this tablet service. So it's like a third party that does like real-time game footage that delivers that footage to the sidelines like instantaneously on tablets. It's going to change college football and the way that they're able to adapt. So I think that is a very good point, Shea, that I think they will, until they kind of figure out what's going on, they're just going to play their base defense, and then they can tweak from there. But you're right, they're going to be able to dissect it quicker than they have in the past because they're going to be getting instantaneous film back.
And with Bull, it's going to be up high, which I think is going to actually help the defense.
Correct. Yes.
The first two drives are going to be on the defensive line. If the defensive line is rushing hard and making Sam run around, then I think you're fine. But if they're playing even base on the defensive line, like contain, you're going to see Arizona State probably march down on Wyoming pretty easily just initially. Nothing against Wyoming's defense. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. And no, that's a good point too. I wanted to bring up the press release for this week said that Bull, the defensive coordinator, would be up in the box, Aaron Bull, and then Jay Johnson's going to be in the box as well. Mm-hmm. And then the only other coach who's going to be in the box, which I found interesting, is going to be Jeff Phelps, the defensive tackles coach. So I wonder if he's there to kind of help along Aaron Bull with some stuff, being a very experienced coach.
If you think about it, you got Brian Hendricks, who's an intelligent coach on your defensive line, and then you have the head coach that was a linebacker coach. So like Aaron could always call down and be like, "Hey, grab the Sheas and tell them to pull their heads out of their butts because this isn't working."
Yeah. So that dynamic's going to be interesting. And then again, helmet communication on both sides of the ball, I think, is key too. So as we talked about before, that now works to where coaches will be able to talk to the designated player until 15 seconds on the play clock. And I don't think anybody's asked Salvel who's going to be wearing that defensively.
It's Shea.
Is it
middle
going to be
linebacker?
Yeah. Okay, so you already seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, right? It's usually the middle linebacker. But if you don't have an experienced one, then sometimes they pass that around. So, no, good to see that it's going to be Shea, which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. So, again, a lot of change. Change on the teams, change in the rules. And did North Dakota State just get a turnover?
Yeah, hit off the guy's foot.
Oh, my goodness. In the end zone.
Oh, no. What a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Wild.
Wow. So, again, I wish I had more for you, but I can't see into the future. If I did, I'd be a very rich man because I'd have, some crazy Vegas parlay lined up on this game where I'd, bet $10 and win a couple thousand if I knew it was going to happen. But that's the fun of college football. We have no idea, especially with all this newness.
I bet $10 to win 38 on NDSU winning this particular game.
Straight up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Montana State kind of screwed me last week with their little shenanigans there. Because we had New Mexico straight up on that too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Bummer.
I'll teach you to be a degenerate gambler.
Honestly, it's probably one of my better qualities.
So, any thoughts on Arizona State there, Shea?
Well, I'm looking just at their depth chart, and may God have mercy on Rook Brown's soul with their tight ends.
There's some large humans. And one of them you said was like, I looked it up too, he's like 6'7", 275 or something.
6'5", 275.
Yeah,
so.
I imagine he's a blocking tight end, so I'm not too worried. If that guy is going downfield and catching passes with any type of foot speed, then we're in a lot of trouble.
He's
gonna die.
He's a Florida State transfer, so probably not slow.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna line up. They got to put a safety on those tight ends if they go out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of chess pieces on both sides of the ball for both teams, just trying to figure out what's going to things right, because Arizona State's got the same problems. They're going against Jay Johnson, who we don't really know what he's going to run. Is it going to look like Michigan State? Is it going to look like Louisiana? Is it going to look like Northern Illinois?
Hopefully it's the Louisiana, Northern Illinois offense, not that Michigan State one that was so terrible.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair to Jay,
they lost a lot of talent.
Mel Tucker did not help him out. It actually helped us out at Wyoming, but it did not help out Jay.
That is very true.
People forget what a piece of shit Mel Tucker was.
Yeah, he's a. Their line's not that big. I mean, this is one of the smaller lines Wyoming's probably going to see this year.
Yeah, when I was looking at their film from last year, they looked like a pretty lean team all around, but athletic, and that's my main concern, is they might just be able to out athlete us in terms of that depth too, with their speed. Yeah. But again, I don't know. They probably don't face. Again, they are a Pac-12 team, so they're not used to a whole lot of hitting, and we're going to be hitting people because that is right. Like the baseline of our program, especially defensively.
It's funny. I was listening to the podcast I listened to a lot, Pardon My Take, this week, and they were talking about Alex Grinch and his stint at USC, where he just constantly recruited undersized defensive linemen and expected better results out of that. And then you look at Arizona State's defensive line here, and they are, like you said, not a big group. And I think our offensive line probably have our way with them if things are clicking.
If they line up that end that's 6'4", 240 against Barnett, he's going to get murdered. Jack Walsh and him are going to murder that man.
So, yeah, that's something to look for, right? Wyoming's experienced offensive line, which has good size, against perhaps an undersized ASU team. So, yeah, it's fascinating. This game, I think it's going to be fascinating. And, yeah, that first quarter is going to be probably on both sides. Like Shea said, you're just going to see a whole lot of vanilla until they can kind of figure out what tweaks do they need to make. And then the biggest thing is the Wyoming offense, right? I guess so. I'll pass this along. So what do you guys expect to see? Everything, I think this has to be a disinformation campaign. Everybody's like, yeah, we're going to start airing it out. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Jay Johnson's history suggests that it's going to be a little more balanced. We're going to throw more than we did under Bull for sure, but I don't think it's going to be like a 60-40 split. I think we're still going to run the ball probably 55% of the time would be my guess. I think we're going to be like a 55-45 run to pass ratio, but some people think it's going to be like 60-40 to the pass, and I don't see that happening.
With what Wyoming has in their running back stable, I don't see a reason to put that much pressure on Evan Svoboda right away to start the season, where we've got a stable of running backs that can get the job done. So I would expect probably like a 50-50 split this week. 55-45 run, somewhere in there, I bet.
I don't know if you guys listened to the coach's show last night with Jay, but they had Sebastian Harsh there as well, and Donoval. And Harsh openly admitted that there was days the offense was gashing Wyoming's defense. So, and you heard the stories that our poor third string defense had to line up against Sam Scott, and Sam Scott was eating them for lunch because they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
And Sam, nothing to take away from Sam, but that's pretty. He probably had the third string offensive line, and he's still finding ways to smash through and gain big runs on people. So, and Sam can, I think you're going to see more running back when Brian, what was that, 2-10 season where Wyoming was terrible. they would throw the ball out to the running backs. They went away from it, and I think you're probably going to see more of that because it lets Evan get in a little bit of a rhythm, tight end dumps, and then they're going to hit those over the top with Pellissier and Brown. Those guys are just so fast, or send body down the seam that just let them air it out. But
yeah, let me check this really quick to see Michigan State's receiving the past couple years.
So, Chad, is this going to be the elusive year where the Cowboys hit 30 points a game?
I would lean towards no, just because you have to take baby steps. Let's see. Last year, Michigan State had a running back had 22 catches, which would be pretty good for us. That was from 23. 22 probably a lot better. Let's see here. Another guy with 19. So, yeah, if you had a running back who could get, 20 to 25 catches in a year, that'd be pretty solid. What was that the graphic I put up later? Here we go. Let me put this back up. Wyoming last year was at 25 a game. So can they get an extra 5? I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, if your third down passing routes aren't just stop routes at the sticks for 4 receivers, then you could probably get 5 points.
It's possible. And again, why we bring that up is because historically, to win the Mountain West Conference, you have to – every conference champion in the Mountain West has averaged 30 points a game. Every single one. So that's something you can't deny. And guess what? The one year that Wyoming scored 30 points a game, guess what?
Is that the year we played San Diego State?
We hosted the Mountain West title game. Yeah, the only year we scored 30 points a game, we were in the it. So that's just my big numbers, 30 points a game, unless you have like an all-world, like a top 20 defense that just, jacks people up. And that's possible too. I mean, they could go that route.
I think the last few years, Wyoming's total defense has averaged somewhere, like the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
I think last year we finished in the 70s.
Hasn't been.
I get so tired.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we'll see. Thank you, Brad. That's a good question. The 30 points a game, I suppose it's attainable, but that's going to require, the coaching could help quite a bit. But again, we don't know. We've seen Svoboda. Everybody believes in him. He's got the skill set, but we haven't seen him do it for a full game, right? He hasn't been the quarterback for a full game that we won, right? He went down to Austin, didn't phase him, right? But we still got blown out, even though they were in the game until the fourth quarter. So that was a weird game. And then he came in and helped win a couple games in the regular season, right? And then the bowl game, obviously, when Peasley went down, had the game-winning drive. So that's what you got to kind of look for. To hopefully he could put that together for a full game over a majority of our games. And then we're going to
look at 65% completion percentage would be nice. Because Wyoming's quarterbacks have historically been in the 50s, and it's not been very good passing at Wyoming. Yeah,
and that improved last year. Actually, quite a bit. Peasley last year was at 62%.
Yeah, if you're at 65, you're probably scoring 30 points.
Svoboda and 23 of 38, he was at 60% for his 38 passes.
It's not awful.
I think if they're in the 60s, and you could do that scheme, but that's the other thing I want to mention too is when I talked to Body Jr., he said, and I'm pretty sure this is a direct quote, that the passing game is going to be a lot more vertical. I think that's what he told me. And that worries me because that's how we were under Vegan for so much. And that's why people were like, well, Josh Allen can't pass the ball. And I go, yeah, because Vegan just wanted to throw deep all the dang time instead of taking, the simple underneath stuff. So I don't know. Clint chimes in saying he's hoping for a 200 passing yards per game. Yeah, that's another number 2 that we haven't hit in a long time.
That would be cool.
Peasley was at 165 last year, just for reference.
So close.
That's right. So again, as I said, It's going to be a fascinating game to see how this all plays out. But we will still make fools of ourselves here and do a little prediction round. And I'm going to throw Brad on the spot first.
Oh, you want me to predict something?
Brad, it is prediction time. What do you think will be the final score of this football game? The Wyoming Cowboys versus the Arizona State Sun Devils.
I'm going to say 27-7. But for Wyoming, not Arizona State.
27-7.
The bookmakers can suck it.
Holy moly.
What?
That's pretty bold.
Or no, I'm sorry. 27-20. That's what I meant.
Okay.
27-7 would be fucking awesome though. But it's 27-20.
Okay.
Jesus.
Shea.
I'll make a bold one here. I say Wyoming gets down early, but wins like 34-13. I think Wyoming's defense is too fast for Levitt.
Okay.
Big score. I like it.
34-13. Okay, so I was like, whoa, that is bolder than Brad's even his first one. It's a lot of points. And it could happen, right? What did we say here? They gave up.
You got to have 30 points a game, Chad.
They gave up 31 a game last year. And we averaged 25. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even want to make a prediction.
No, you have to.
I don't want to, though.
You don't get to be the smug podcast host and be like, all right, thanks for your predictions. And then
I told you so. Yeah, these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Put your balls on the line, Chad.
No, it's just okay. Well, I'm worried about a lot of things. Mainly the road, right? Last year, Wyoming on the road was terrible, beyond terrible. Unless they were playing, right? We beat Nevada, but that team was like one of the worst in the country.
Terrible.
Did we beat anybody else on the road? I think that might have been our lone win, right? Let me look.
Yeah, because there were 7 home games, so that was the only one. Because
technically our bowl game was on the road.
That's neutral. 31-10 at Texas on the road. Lost to Air Force. That was got blown out by Boise, of course. Lost to UNLV.
To show up.
That one was pretty disappointing. And then Nevada. So yeah, Nevada was our lone. I don't know. I can't believe in this team. I can't say they're going to win on the road against a Power 5 school, even though they're terrible. Right? I have to see it.
Listen, I watched New Mexico State beat Auburn 31-10 before. So
yeah. That is crazy. What year was that? I forget.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
New Mexico State could do it.
It could happen. So we're going to see. We're going to see the coaching chops of Savell, right? Because he's been beaten and saying we got to be consistent. He's like, we got to put in the same work, the same consistency, home or away, win or loss. So I don't know. I'm going to say it'll be close. I think it'll be a little lower scoring. Maybe I'd probably go like 24-20 to Arizona State if I had to give a guess. But I don't know. I could see it. I don't know. Yeah. I'll do 24-20. But a loss, unfortunately. Just so you can't call me a homer.
Oh, man. Hang on. How many people are looking at this stream right now that are going to be calling?
I don't know what Clint says. This is cautionary approach we learned from the last 10 years, Chad. I, too, am cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
I can't wait to call you from the Vegas Strip on Saturday night and just clown you for that prediction.
You can do that. That's fine. I'll be happy to be wrong, but
I'll be asleep, but
telling you what I think. Yeah, it's late. So, yes, Mr. Brad is jet setting this weekend to go see LSU and USC. Is that who it is, right?
No.
No?
Going to the Killers.
Oh, I thought you were going to the football game.
I wish.
Oh.
That would be awesome.
He's going to the Killers. Oh, I thought this whole trip was for the football game.
No.
Okay. Are the Killers playing in the Sphere?
No, they're playing at the Coliseum.
Oh, boo.
We're going to the Sphere, though, to go see the show, like their daily show, so that'll be pretty sweet.
Okay.
Top it off with Absinthe on Monday night, so.
All right.
No, it's one of it's like Vegas's best show, and it's at Caesar's Palace in like a circus tent outside. And it's like constantly rated as like the best show in Vegas. It's awesome. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Don't take the kid.
We will hear your report on it when you get back.
Bloodshot eyes and all.
and how great it is. So, yeah, so there's our predictions. We got 2 for Wyoming, 1 for Arizona State. We will see what happens. I'm just trying to think. I don't know if there'll be a post-game show because it's going to be like, what, midnight here when the game's over? We'll see. I'll do a pregame show for sure. Post-game, I don't know. We'll have to see.
2 a.m. for me.
Yeah. If we win the game, we'll do a post-game, obviously, because people will be pretty stoked. But
8:30, yeah, probably.
8:30 kickoff. A game takes 3.5 hours in this TV age. But we'll see. I don't know if they tweaked any of the clock rules. I don't think they have much.
They're trying to make the game faster by adding more commercials.
Yes. I know. Yeah, that is their official take.
That's what they say.
It makes no sense, does it?
No, they're idiots.
Yeah, they've added more commercial breaks in an effort to speed up the game. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's insanity. Listen, man, somebody's got to stuff the pockets of these corporations so we can keep raising the price of ESPN.
That's true.
That's why the Mountain West went to True TV and TNT.
Which is, has anybody flipped to that? That's tonight. Has it started yet? It's San Jose State versus Sacramento State.
Oh my God.
Who would even turn to that game?
Well, I will, just to see what's going on here. Let's see here.
But we get to watch Colorado lose on ESPN.
True TV. They're winning now.
For now.
Here we go. I got True TV on. And San Jose State is 0-0. It's just started. 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. So that is the new home of the Mountain West. Wyoming will play, I think, just 1 game right now, right? Scheduled, or maybe 2?
They have 1 game scheduled against New Mexico and one against Idaho.
2, okay. So 2 on True TV. And they hired a good staff for studio and stuff. So I'll have to check this out later.
Wasn't one of the former Bronco defensive backs one of the guys?
Champ Bailey. Yeah, Champ Bailey's going to be in the studio, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting career choice for him.
I just noticed this for Arizona State. They don't have a kicker. They have a kicker, and they're all or on the depth charts. That's going to bode well for them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
that could. Or.
Let me see. Let me look that up really quick here.
If you have 4 kickers, you don't have any kickers.
Yes, I would say so. Let's see who they had last year.
Even their punter is an or.
Okay. That's interesting. That's making me rethink my thing. I didn't look at the kicking game.
Yeah, my favorite thing, Chad. What are you doing?
Let's see. So they had a senior kicker last year in the name of Dario Longhetto, who was 11-16, and he graduated. Unless he's on the roster still. Who knows? Is there a Dario Longhetto?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. There's another thing to watch for. They got 4 kickers listed as or.
They have 3 kickers. Their punters an or, their holders an or, and their long snappers an or.
Special teams are up in the air, you could say.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's another thing to look at, right? Because Wyoming's going to be probably pretty rock solid in there.
Was it with your interview that he was Red Shaman was talking about Jake holding for him?
Yeah.
He said he could get the ball down faster than anybody.
He said he's like the best holder he's ever had.
Yeah.
Quickest ball to ground there is too, he said.
Will be good.
So yeah.
People forget that's an important statistic.
Oh, it is.
For a kicker, it's everything.
It is. I know. That's why. I mean, you should have seen how happy he was when he was talking about that.
Finally, I have a holder.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Well, there we go. You guys might be right now. I might be like, oh wow, their special teams are a complete nightmare.
It's 1/3 of the game, Chad.
Well, it is. It is. So, all right. Any final words before we wrap this up for the night?
I'll be frantically watching games in my 45-minute layover in Seattle Saturday night. So hopefully I can watch as much as possible. Alaska is not very good at
picked like the worst day of the year to travel. Like literally.
I wanted to go Sunday morning so I could go to the football game here and watch the Wyoming game, and I was largely overruled. And actually, it's probably a good thing because I think I saw Alaska Airlines had another cyber breach this week. So flights in and out of Seattle have been really delayed. So probably a good thing we're going Saturday night.
You should do just get that GoGo in flight, and then they have streaming services. You can pay extra for streaming on GoGo in flight now.
Well, we got upgraded to first class, so maybe that comes with in Go flight or something like that.
It should.
Just pull up Keith Kelly. Just listen to the.
There you go.
Probably what I'll be doing.
Listen to the audio stream on GoWyoming.com.
Yeah, that stuff streams everywhere now. Varsity Sports Network.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. So, yeah, we'll see Chad's prediction wrong because he forgot to look at all phases of the game.
I did. I didn't even look at special teams. I mean, that's crazy that they have like a kicking roulette. They might just be running kickers out there, like a different kicker for every.
That would be insanely hilarious.
I mean, you see teams who do that. There's like, there's like a short kicker and then a long kicker. That might be what they're doing.
Maybe they have a kickoff guy too.
And they have a kickoff guy, yeah.
Wyoming used to have a middle linebacker that did that for him.
Yeah, they did.
He would stand straight behind the ball and just take 2 steps and
just ban it into the end zone.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That's like Australian rules type of kicking.
So, all right, boys and girls. Well, there is your preview. Not a much view because we don't have anything to base this on. So, yeah, you can come back and mock all of us, especially me. I have no problem being mocked if Arizona State, misses a game-winning field goal at the buzzer because I didn't look at their depth chart properly.
They put in the kickoff guy and not the PAT guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll be back for a pregame show of some sort, and then we'll see about the postgame. But yeah, should be good. So for Brad, for Shea, I am Chad. Thank you for joining us on the WyoNation Roundup. We will talk to you guys soon.